Well, welcome back to Mr. Obsolete's Vintage Homesteading. Today is going to be a pretty unusual video because usually everything we have around here, and like 99% of the equipment and tools we use, are antique and vintage. But sometimes you run across something really unusual and weird that you need to have in your arsenal. So anyway, I ran into one of these things and I thought, well, it's probably either a game changer or it's one of the deals where the want is better than the have. So here it is. Senix 4-cycle chainsaw. And as you guys know, almost every chainsaw ever made has a 2-cycle engine. I thought, this might be an interesting piece of junk. So let's take and open it up and see what we got here. Well, we gotta have the right tool for opening this box. So here it is, a Senix 4-cycle chainsaw, 18-inch bar, no mixing of gas and oil, 2-year warranty. Well, got a manual and emissions BS. Comes with engine oil and a scrunch and a little Torx handle. Well, here it is in all its glory. Well, it's got a puny little chain on it. So anyway, let's look at the features here. It's 49cc. A little cheap, boy, that's really cheap. That starter handle, a little cheap hollow plastic thing. I think it has an elasto start system on it. Here's where your engine oil goes in, your bar oil, your kill switch. This to take the top off to service the air filter. You got a purge pump, a choke, and gas. Has a chain brake on it. So anyway, let's see. Supposed to put oil in it here. Okay, well, the first thing we got to do is put some oil in it here. It comes with a little pre-measured bottle there. Looks like it's 100 milliliters. Okay, well, we got the engine oil full. So now we'll put some bar oil in. One thing that's nice on this, it has actually a rubber seal on here to seal the lip of it, but there is a lip that's open right behind it, which will build up with sawdust, so anytime you go to fill it, you want to clean that little trough out there. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is put some gas in it, but the chain was completely dry on it. It was super tight, so I loosened that and lubed it. And the bar sprocket here wasn't lubed either, so I lubed that. So it's nice and smooth now. One thing is kind of interesting, it says that the bar and chain are made by Oregon, and Oregon is outsourcing more and more of their stuff overseas, and so the low-end chainsaw bars, the consumer grade ones, are now made in China, and the low-end chain like this one is also made there. It's a 3/8 low profile safety chain. It's so tiny, I thought for sure, man, I got 1/4 inch chain that's bigger than this one. So anyway, the last thing we'll do is put some gas in it. Okay, so basically it's ready to start. I wanted to talk briefly about the specifications on the saw. So, like I say, it's a 4-cycle engine. It's 49 cc. Has an 18-inch bar. When you look in the book on it, it says it's from the dog end to here is only 16 inch, so 16 inches is the maximum you can cut with it. The weight is 13.58 pounds, and the horsepower on it says it's 1600 watts, which equivalent is 2.145 horsepower. So anyway, get ready to start it and be right back. Okay, on the starting procedure, got a purge valve. It's interesting, in the literature it says it's a primer, which it isn't, because the difference between a purge valve and a primer is a purge valve, all it does is push the fuel through the fuel system, and a primer actually sprays a mist of fuel into the throat of the carburetor and primes it, just like it says. So anyway, it says to press this about 10 times. Got a bee buzzing me. One thing that's a nice feature on it, when you pull the choke on, it does two things. Choke plate's closed, but it also sets the throttle plate open a little bit. So let's see what happens here. Well, it's going to be finicky, so I'll fiddle around with it and see if I can get it running. Okay, well, got it running, but you know, whenever you have something new, you always go through the learning curve with the goods and the bads. And so I was talking about how that when you pull the choke out, it also sets the throttle for high idle. But the thing is, this thing is really easy to flood, which happened, and that's when it was pulling my hand, you know, the rope or starter out of my hand there, because it's such a little cheap, puny handle. And then, you know, the throttle isn't open enough to get any air in it to help clear it out. So good for one thing, bad for the other. So the other thing is that this handle is just too puny. I'm going to put something better on it. So anyway, let's see if it'll restart here. then we'll go out and run it. So when you rev it up, it starts cutting out. That's the governor kicking in, and it's supposed to be at 9,000 RPM. Doesn't sound like it to me, but I don't have a tach to check it. But let's see if it'll restart. Well, let's go over and see if it's allergic to wood, because this chain here, looking in the owner's manual, it says for occasional use only. So that's another thing that's got a safety chain, or for people who shouldn't have a chainsaw. Well, my initial thoughts on it: cuts better than expected. This is starting to work in a little bit. I'm going to have to do a fine tune on it. Carburetor seems off a little bit. So what our plan is next couple of weeks I'll do some light cutting, break it in, and go through it and tighten everything, check it all over again. Okay, well, we need to start breaking the saw in here a bit. So we've got some small wood that needs to be branched, and there's some more of them here, and then we'll cut them up into firewood slices. So let's see how our fine Senix 4-stroke chainsaw starts from cold. Okay, first thing we need to do is push the purge valve 10 times. Pull the choke on. Well, it works good on branching. So let's cut these up. Okay, well, we get a pile of stumps here, so I'm going to cut off a couple of pieces here. Then I'll come over and cut off that bigger piece and see how it does on a little bit harder wood. The other wood I'm cutting is pretty rotten. Let's see what happens here. Not too bad. So anyway, the next couple of weeks I'll be breaking it in. Carburetor tuning's a little bit off, but it takes a weird tool which I don't have, so I ordered that in. So anyway, when we're back in 2 weeks, I should have it all dialed in and more break-in time, and then see how it does in the real world.